Shalom. It is my honor to present to you the confirmation class of 5780. 10 amazing students who were unable to have their confirmation service last year have put together a creative service for us this evening. Wrapped around the themes of our liturgy and the 10 Commandments, our confirmands will share their thoughts and feelings. And although it is Sunday evening, we begin with the ritual of Havdalah, a ritual of separation from the Sabbath and the weekdays. And in this case, our confirmands, which are all finishing up their last year plus of high school, will be moving on to their next chapter. In a sense, this Havdalah distinguishes them from the children they were to the young adults they are. We begin with Hallelujah.
is our passion, memory, and life. It is the product of what we make, the stories we tell, and the impact we leave on others' lives. Joy is satisfaction and happiness. It's what we strive to look for and leave behind. Cooking, arts, sports, games, literature, etc. They all are passions brought by joy. A force that inspires and encourages us to taste the spice of life. Quarantine's monotony didn't crush that force of joy. It merely made us adapt. Video calls, safe in-person meetings, and experimental hobbies break the blandness of current times. Joy is, to me, the reason to keep going in the face of bleakness and despair. Joy family, joy friendship, joy for plain dumb fun. Spice up your life and keep on going. It's only up from here. Thank you.
Third symbol we have is that of the candles. Rambam reminds us that each of us is a flame, but when we work together in community, we become something much brighter. And I have to say that this class of 5780 is such an amazing class. Each of them is a bright flame, but when the 10 of them work together, they are awesome. As you can see by this evening's really cool and unique service. We're so proud of them. We're so proud of the light they have shined on our community, and we know each of them as individuals will become much brighter lights as they make our world a better place. As we now extinguish the candle, that energy doesn't really go out. That energy now goes within each of us.
המבדיל בין קודש לחול, חטאותינו ימחול. זרענו וכספנו ירבה כחול, וככוכבים בלילה. שבוע טוב, 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 שבוע טוב. A good week, a week of peace, make gladness reign and joy increase. A good week, a week of peace, make gladness reign and joy increase. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu HaTishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu HaKiladi. Bimhera b'yameinu, yavo eleinu. Im Mashiach ben David, Im Mashiach ben David. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu HaTishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu HaKiladi. Mitzvah goreret mitzvah, Avera goreret avera. Mitzvah goreret mitzvah, goreret mitzvah. Ya la 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 la. Lihiyot tzadik, ze tov, ze tov. Lihiyot tzadik, ze mazeh tov me'od. Mitzvah goreret mitzvah, Avera goreret avera. Mitzvah goreret mitzvah, goreret mitzvah. Ya la 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 la. Lihiyot tzadik, ze tov, ze tov. Lihiyot tzadik, ze mazeh tov me'od. Mitzvah goreret mitzvah, Avera goreret avera. Mitzvah goreret mitzvah, goreret mitzvah. Ya la 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 la.
At Temple, I have learned about a lot of the Jewish life cycle events. Some notable ones include birth and brishes or baby namings, consecration, bar bat mitzvahs, confirmation, weddings, and funerals. When I think about these different events, I notice a few similarities. There is usually a lot of family and friends around, good food, and for most events, people are happy and joyful. Even at funerals, although they are sad, there can be happy moments when the rest of the family remembers the person that has passed away. A lot of my family lives in other parts of the country, so many of my favorite family memories come from traveling to my cousin's bar and bat mitzvahs and them traveling to mine and my sister's. I also think it is pretty cool that many of us in this class have celebrated a lot of these events together, from consecration all the way up to confirmation. When I signed up for confirmation, I thought it would only be a one-year class, but I'm glad that we got to share it together just like many other life cycle events. We have shared a lot of milestones and memories together through the years.
So in January, we got a Sheltie puppy. Her name is Elsie, and if I had to think of 3 words to describe her, I'd say crazy, menace, and adorable. You know that puppy thing where they could destroy anything and you wouldn't be able to stay mad at them for long or even be mad in the first place because they're way too adorable. Elsie is the epitome of that. But I've been super excited about having a puppy. Growing up in a dog-loving household has made me sure I'll get a dog when I'm older, and having a puppy around has given me a chance to learn so much more about raising and training a puppy. This whole process has made me super excited to finally be able to get a dog of my own, but it's also made me question, why is that? Why am I excited to get a dog so much? Why is the best part about growing up, in my opinion, getting a dog? I think it's because dogs, like all pets, aren't just dogs. They're our companions. We promise to take care of them, and they love us in return. Your dog doesn't care about what you may have done in your day or if you're a bad person. Your dog loves you regardless. Humans, just like dogs, are pack animals. We need others to survive. Without companions, we begin to go insane and lose all sense of self. The UN literally classifies solitary confinement as cruel and inhumane. The presence of others is crucial to our survival. Love is so important to humanity because love is what makes us human. I think love is a difficult topic, to say the least. It's difficult to describe the feeling of loving someone. No one ever tells you what loving feels like. No one ever explains it to you. But the funny thing is, no one really has to. It's impossible to tell how you love someone. You just know that you do. You know because you can spend hours with them and never get bored. You know because they can make you feel better just by being there. You know because whenever you leave, the only thing you can think of is when you'll see them again. What's odd to me is when you hear the word love, you probably immediately think of romantic love, like love you may have for a significant other or a crush. But this is far from the only type of love there is. In fact, Greek has 7 words for love as compared to English's 1. Agape, a religious love. Eros, a more intimate love. Philia, a love between siblings or friends. Storge, the love that parents hold for their children. Xenia, a respect-like love for others. And philatia, a love for oneself. Not everyone experiences love in the same way, but everyone experiences love at some point. Whether it's from your parents, your friends, or your partner. Everyone has love, everyone gives love, and everyone receives love. Love is what makes us human, and love has no exceptions.
The natural meaning of God has endured among the most philosophically profound questions to have challenged our kind. Such belief in divine power and ensuing ritual practices pervaded virtually all societies throughout human history. Since antiquity, archaeological evidence has attested to the existence of religious-based groups, depicted in, though not limited to, elaborate artifacts of cave wall paintings, figurines, and symbolic scriptures. The ubiquity of primitive religion in an era of geographical and social isolation suggests a deep cognitive evolutionary underpinning of human belief in a subjective God. Nascent peoples of our race were connected, beyond occasional physical interactions, by the common thread of consciousness towards an abstract supernatural being. God was conceptually unbounded, inhumanely transcending in physical and mental capacity, yet paradoxically restricted to the biological scope of our intelligent mind's exploration. The primordial construct of God provided a route of explanation towards natural phenomena and the human condition, a novel sense of meaning manifested, attributable towards a world where little was then to be understood. Life imbued with moral and intellectual purpose, progressing the human race into unparalleled depths of metaphysical reasoning. Individual peril with the existential unknowns in which God psychologically drives engendered the persistent seeking of knowledge and advancement. The general labors of this cultivation have borne such fruitful pleasures in the impressive reality upon us. Alas, however, in such present tense, we are all but mere mortals on this stage of life, plaster pieces breathing history. Forging onwards, we contribute our collective verse as God, prescient, albeit keenly observing, presses the play ahead. Within this moment on the timeline of human presence, we are divinely privileged. Standing atop the lucent face of 2, unburdened by the earth and heaviness beneath, we passively peer at life through the lens of proverbial idealism. Murmurs and mewlings of forthcoming affliction pass in a warning. Nonetheless, the brevity of such life ensuring a necessary confrontation. Life moves in many ways unknown. The days merging with the months and years as our existence flows in an uncoagulated procession. Amid the grand scheme of things, explanations are constrained to the notion of God. By way of analogy, according to Benjamin Franklin, life is a kind of chess. Even if only minimally aware of Russian culture, One should be sure to know that the game is also a venerable pastime, especially in the Soviet Jewish household. In fact, when entering, you usually do not have to stray far from the front door to find the board and pieces nuzzled up close to the items of comparable significance, family photos, and antique treasures. As simple pieces placed helplessly in our respective positions, we entertain in various acts of conflict. Scenes of triumph and demise unfold strangely within this fascinatingly wicked game. The dimensions of the chessboard confine our gaze, compromising only within the peripheries. We cannot know what will become of the future, let alone us, as an endless array of possibilities await the current state. The motions we partake in reside most inconveniently at the mercy of the player above, God. Some pieces he sacrifices in others by selfish design, and then there are those he chooses for the long haul. As my mother lay comatose in the wake of a devastating car accident 13 years ago, the state of her life resided solely in the grasp of God. Despite the condition being critical, he willed for her to continue through the long haul.
Mi Chamocha is a prayer of freedom, a song of celebration for the Israelites' escape from Egypt. According to our Torah, the Jewish people have just crossed the Red Sea, and the women, led by Miriam, are giving thanks to God for their freedom by singing Mi Chamocha. After over 400 years in bondage, it's safe to say that the Israelites were in the mood to celebrate. In regards to this theme of freedom and my thoughts on it, there are a lot of things I feel like I could talk about. However, there is one thing in particular that comes to mind, and it is something we talk about every Passover, along with our ancestors' exodus from Egypt. And that is that we aren't really free until we are all free. As Jews, we talk a lot about the importance of mitzvot, being a mensch and doing the right thing, and it is one of my favorite things about our religion. I think it also has a lot to do with this theme of freedom, and reminds us why we should be involved in the fight for others' freedom. In our world today, there are so many global issues, problems to solve, and people to help, it can feel overwhelming, and it often seems easier to just turn a blind eye or pretend like it's not that big of an issue. Sometimes it can be so disheartening to learn about these major issues that it feels like our only option is to ignore them and return to our own lives. But in reality, we have to avoid falling into this trap, even if it does mean taking the more difficult path. Specifically in the past year, it has felt especially difficult to become involved in working towards solutions for some of the global issues that need to be addressed, as the pandemic has been both draining and limiting. While I've also seen a lot of inspiring people in this crisis, such as frontline workers or Black Lives Matter protesters, I found myself often justifying my lack of action because of the circumstances we are in. However, now more than ever, as we come out of this pandemic and start to rebuild our communities, I think we all need the reminder of the importance of working for others' freedom. Now more than ever, we have to work to fight against issues like racial injustice, climate change, anti-Semitism, and so many more, not just because our Torah says so, but because it's the right thing to do. Otherwise, I think our freedom isn't really worth celebrating.
The Hashkivenu is a prayer about shelter, protection, and peace. This past year, our houses have served as our shelters more than ever before. And while staying home may be difficult at times, it is important we remind ourselves to feel grateful that we have a home to stay inside of. There are, however, many places of protection and peace that we have not been able to visit physically this year, and it is in these places that our definitions of protection and peace need to change. I have realized this year how important people are to the feeling and culture of a place. Stepping foot on my empty high school campus feels less like school than sitting on a Zoom call with my classmates and friends who are the creators of the culture on campus. Throughout my experiences in this past year, I have been reminded that the people who have touched my life are the keepers of shelter and protection, whereas physical locations are only the meeting places of peace.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom, L'shalom, Ve'ha'amidenu Shomreinu L'chaim, Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha, Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha.
To me, family is my connection to the past and my guide for the future. This past year, many families were forced apart due to COVID, mine included. My Opa, who lives across the country, had a stroke in November, and he passed away soon thereafter. The most devastating part was not being able to hug him or to say goodbye in person. Since his passing, I've learned a lot about my family and the remarkable story of my Opa and his immigration to the U.S. Although my Opa is not physically here to tell me these stories, I am reminded of how wonderful my life is due to his sacrifices. Coming to America with nothing and helping to create this life that I live today, I cannot be more grateful. He proved that anything is possible. Besides being a reminder of my heritage, family represents compassion and faith. Bringing my beliefs about family into my Jewish journey helps me to feel more connected than ever. Family reminds me of the past and how many risks they took for me to be here today. Learning about their stories, lives, and hardships guides me to make similar decisions about my future.
Gabbert, the absolute power that God has. This power is not to control us, but to guide us in the best possible direction. Parents give us power and strength to guide us to be the best possible person. Similarly to a parent, an elder, teacher, or mentor can give us power by guiding us with a particular task. I'm fortunate that the Gabbert ways of my parents and people I respect and trust is offering me the tools to be a strong, kind, and accomplished person. However, people have to respect the power they hold. There have been many recent instances of abuses of power, like our former president, government officials, or police officer actions. We are taught to follow, respect, and listen to people of authority. But by abusing their role, by giving misinformation or hurting someone makes you doubt, lose trust, or not believe. As I get older and develop more power, strength, and responsibilities, I will try to remember what I have learned about the Gabbert and being the best possible person I can be.
Gratitude acknowledges and gives purpose to one's actions. It's encouraging and nice to be recognized for doing good. Gratitude also goes both ways. It's nice to receive gratitude for doing something, but it's also good to give as well. Gratitude inspires everyone to make things happen and keep on progressing, whether you give or receive gratitude. We all do so much for each other, and gratitude helps keep those bonds strong. I would not have been able to continue confirmation class if it were not for the kindness of the Rabbi, Cantor, in my class. From all my heart, I thank you all and everyone who's watching. Thank you.
During services, I find myself reflecting a lot on a wide variety of things going on in my life. Sometimes it may just be about my day or my week, or just even a certain interaction I had with someone. But as I reflect on what the Birkat Shalom and peace means to me, I find myself on the topic of finding my own inner peace. I think of inner peace as an ability to block out all the stressors around you and find calmness in the situation. This is hard to do, and honestly, I don't think I've done it yet. I couldn't remember the last time I was stress-free, and I think a lot of my fellow classmates could relate to that. So, how can we achieve inner peace? I could sit here listing steps you could take to find it, but I feel like that wouldn't do you much good. Instead, I'm going to say don't try to find it. Let it come to you. Cherish those moments when you're surrounded by people who you love, or when you're doing something you enjoy, and you just might find your inner peace.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atu
One of the highlights of confirmation, I think, is the chanting of the Aseret HaDibrot, the 10 utterances or the 10 commandments. And although we have a unique service before us this evening, we thought it was so important for us to hear our students chanting Torah and again hearing from the 10 commandments. We now continue with our Torah chanting.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, V'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Vayidaber Elohim et kol hadvarim ha'ele lemor. Anohi Adonai Elohecha asher hotzeticha me'eretz Mitzrayim מבית הבתים לא יהיה לך אלוהים אחרים על פניי לא תעשה לך פסל בכל תמונה אשר בשמיים ממעל באשר בארץ מתחת ואשר במים מתחת לארץ.
לא תשתחווה להם ולא תעבדם, כי אנוכי אדוני אלוהיך אלקנה פוקד עוון אבות על בנים, על שילשים ועל ריבעים לשונאי, ועושה חסד לאלפים, לאוהבי ושומרי מצוותי. לא תישא את שם אדוני אלוהיך לשווא, כי לא ינקה אדוני את אשר יישא את שמו לשווא.
זכור את יום השבת לקדשו, ששת ימים תעבוד, ועשית כל מלאכתה ביום השביעי, שבת לאדוני אלוהיך, לא תעשה כל מלאכה, אתה ובנך וביתך, עבדך ואדמתך ופמתך, וגרך אשר בשעריך.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, את הים ואת כל אשר בם, וינח ביום השביעי. על כן בירך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו. כבד את אביך ואת אמך, למען יאריכון ימיך על האדמה אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך.
לא תרצח, לא תנקום, תגנוב, לא תענה ורעך עת שקר, לא תחמוד בית רעך, לא תחמוד אשת רעך, ועבדו ואמתו ושורו והמורו וכל אשר לרעך.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
I can't believe we finally made it to our confirmation. It has been a roller coaster getting to this point during COVID, but we're finally here. Although this isn't the confirmation we thought we would have, I'm really glad we're still able to have it. It wouldn't feel right not having this service after spending many Sundays learning together. Most of our class has been together throughout our whole Jewish learning experience so far. It's mind-blowing to see all of us go from not knowing any Hebrew to chanting on the Temple Emanu-El stage at our bar and bat mitzvahs. It's unfortunate we had to have our confirmation this way, but at least we could say we have our service downloaded.
It is our great honor to bless this amazing confirmation class of 5780, just as they have blessed us with this creative and thoughtful service. And as so many of them are integral parts of our community at Temple Emanu-El, we have the honor now of blessing them.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and may God keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's radiance shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
And may God always be a source of strength, of wholeness, completeness, and peace in your lives, as we all say together. Amen.
Amen. May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for worlds still to come. May you trust in generations past and yet to be. May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your eyes shine with the light of holy words, and your face reflect the brightness of the heavens. May your lips ever speak wisdom, your fulfillment be in justice, even as you ever yearn to listen to the words of the holy ancient one of old. May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for worlds still to come. May you trust in generations past and yet to be. May you live to